The people, the headlines, the issues impacting you and your family. This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on Your Side.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to This Week in Cincinnati. I'm Tanya O'Rourke. First today, the jury's decision in the resentencing of a serial killer, Anthony Kirkland. This week, a jury decided for a second time that Kirkland should be executed for his crimes. 9 on Your Side carried the jury's decision for you live on air and on WCPO.com. After weeks of testimony, the jury made its decision in just 2.5 hours. Kirkland raped and killed 13-year-old Esme Kenny and 14-year-old Cassania Crawford. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Deters says he is grateful for the verdict, but is still frustrated.
He's going to outlive me. I mean, death row is the safest place in Ohio. I mean, these people just don't do. Judges sit on the cases, and it's ugly what happens on death row in Ohio. And so at some point, you know, hopefully justice will be carried out.
Judge Patrick Dinkellocker will announce if he accepts the jury's recommendation on the death penalty on August 28th. So joining us now is Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Deters. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Oh, I couldn't be happier.
I'm sure you look like it. Let me just start right where we left off. Judge Patrick Dinkellocker will make the final decision. This was a recommendation by the jury. Is there any reason to assume that he won't follow through on the jury's recommendation?
I think you have a better chance of winning the Mega Ball lottery 2 consecutive weeks than Judge Dinkellocker doesn't give him the death sentence.
Okay.
And we talked to the jury after the case was over, and obviously Mark Pietmeyer, Rick Gibson, they've all tried a lot of murder cases. I've prosecuted 4 serial killers before, and even Donald Harvey and all that other stuff where he killed 28 people. Anthony Kirkland is the worst one we've ever dealt with.
How is that possible? I mean, yes, he killed 5 women, but 2 of them little girls. He abused those bodies. He did terrible things to those girls. But, you know, there were other serial killers who killed, as you mentioned, dozens, scores of people.
Well, this is what we know about with Kirkland.
So you think there's more?
I think there's more. I mean, I'd be shocked if there wasn't. I mean, at a very early age, he killed his uncle's girlfriend, burned her body, and then went to jail for 16 years. And as soon as he got out, he continued to kill. You know, when we were dealing, right in the middle of our trial, I'm a Catholic, the Pope said, hey, we disagree
You're against
with
the death penalty entirely,
yeah.
Catholic Church.
Which I find confounding. I mean, does that mean, like, if Hitler was on Earth today killing 6 million Jews, that we wouldn't go after him? Are you kidding me? I mean, this is self-defense. With Kirkland, it's self-defense. And that's the reason we pursue it, these cases. They are the worst of the worst. And our jury was fantastic. I mean, they ate lunch longer than they did to get a verdict.
I want to hit on that real quickly, but there's so many things you just brought up that I got to get to as well. Okay. It seems like they took an hour lunch break, basically sat a 4-person and said, all right, let's just take a straw poll, and they decided it was a unanimous decision. Was that essentially it? Because it was so fast. I've never seen a jury come back that fast.
I've never seen it in a death penalty case, but you know, the defense attorney in this case, the defense attorneys did what they could do in this case, and they didn't have anything to work with. They did their best. They fought like crazy, but by the end of the day, everyone saw through it, and
all right, so now I got to revisit your issue regarding the Pope. Are you saying that the Pope is just wrong?
Yeah, I'm saying the Pope's wrong. I am. I'm saying the Pope's wrong. I'm sorry. I'm saying the Pope is wrong. My friends who are priests, okay, they don't know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with vicious, evil killers, okay? And it is self-defense, in my mind, for the death penalty. And that's why we seek it on these types of people like Kirkland, and we need to get rid of them.
Okay, but hold on. That goes kind of against what you said after the trial was over, which is he's going to live longer, you know, on death row than you'll probably be alive.
Look,
so
the police did their job. We did our job. The judge is doing his job right now. Okay. if the judges above Judge Dinkelhocker do their job, it wouldn't take so long. But we have certain judges on the state and federal level who don't believe in the death penalty. And instead of running for governor, instead of running in the legislature or the Senate, they decide to legislate from the bench. And that's what they're doing. And they delay these cases and delay them and delay them and delay them. The only case that they don't do that on, you kill federal employees like Timothy McVeigh did, you're dead in 5 years. But it's a state case, they just take their time.
Patricia Crawford, who's the grandmother of Cassandra Crawford, Cherie Crawford, you know Miss Crawford quite well. She said she wants to watch Anthony Kirkland die. He has been sentenced for the second time to the death penalty.
I love Patricia. She's never going to live that long. It's going to be 25 years. When Judge Ruhlman, I had a couple cases in front of Judge Ruhlman, and when he sentences them to death, he says, I am sentencing you to the safest place in Ohio, death row. I've had 2 defendants that I've convicted and put on death row that have died of natural causes. And look, if you don't want the death penalty, get rid of it. I don't care. But I swore to uphold the law, and that's what I'm doing. And if they don't want that, don't legislate from the bench. Justice Scalia in the Supreme Court said this all the time. He said, look, you don't want this, you don't want gay marriage, you don't want, just take care of it in the legislature. Don't ask the judges to do it.
Let me ask you one last thing because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Regarding Anthony Kirkland specifically. Did you get to say anything to him, do anything with him before he left? Any parting word for Anthony Kirkland?
No.
None.
Well, I winked at him once when that was it.
When was that?
When he came in for the verdict. Look, he is a horrible human being, and your viewers don't understand what we're dealing with. I mean, you just don't.
Well, they can't because it's so.
It's
we
so off
can't
the
put
charts.
it on TV.
It's so off the charts, what he did. So off the charts, and
if you could say something to Anthony Kirkland, what would you say? I mean, I know you've said a lot of things about him, but what would you say to him that we could put on?
I would never talk to him. I would never talk to him.
And the worst
if I had to say something, you couldn't air it.
And you still say worst case that you've ever prosecuted?
Yes, it was. It was. I mean, you see the families and what just and I said in closing, the human carnage that took place in this case was atrocious.
Joe Deters, we thank you so much for your time. I know we could talk much longer about this, but we are out of time. And This Week in Cincinnati, we'll be right back.
The people, the headlines, the issues impacting you, all on This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on Your Side.